Good evening. My name is Ahmed Osman, and I am the chair of the Salisbury Wicomico Youth Civics Council. We'd like to thank you all for coming out. It's pretty great to see the support from our community. I've had the privilege of being in the Youth Council for 2 years now. Last year, I was the co-chair for the Community Service Project. I can honestly say that this program has empowered me to be more involved within my community. It is important for kids to become more civically involved since we are the next generation. Like most kids in Salisbury, I imagined myself leaving and never coming back. But after becoming involved with the Youth Council, I've seen the progress and the strides being taken to make Salisbury a better community. So maybe coming back wouldn't be so bad. We'd like to thank the Wicomico County Council, the Salisbury City Council, and the Mayor's Office for their support. Thank you to the Community Foundation for the funding of our program, and AmeriCorps for staffing it. We would also like to thank the person who built the foundation for this year and for years to come, Ms. Brittany Goff, who was the coordinator last year. And of course, we would like to thank this year's coordinator, Theo Williams. He has given a great approach to the program this year, and we have learned a lot. We've discussed a wide variety of topics, ranging from the forms of government in Africa, socio-economic inequality here in Salisbury, and even the curfew legislation that's being discussed. And so we would like to thank you all for coming, and we hope you enjoy the presentations. Jake Day and the Salisbury City Council established a youth council last year in order to have the voice of the youth heard. So now we are using this platform to express what it is the youth in this community want and need. We have put much thought into these presentations, have done much research, and hope for these programs to be instituted soon. With any audience members have any questions, please wait until the end of all of the presentations. After that, we have certificates and refreshments in the back. And with that, I leave the podium to Michael Lee, our vice chair, who will present first.
Good evening. My name is Michael Lee, and I'm a junior at James and Bennett High. Last year, my younger brother, a student at Bennett Middle, approached me about an issue he noticed at his school. Some of his fellow classmates struggled with math class. There were some after-school programs designed to mediate this issue. However, there's still a lack of one-to-one assistance. Teachers running these pre-existing programs are greatly undermanned. In today's increasingly competitive global economy, math has never been more important. Math is a critical aspect of STEM. Although humanities and social sciences should not be ignored, STEM and math in particular are the mediums through which we can create our future. There tends to be a pervasive myth surrounding math, and that myth is that only geniuses can become truly proficient in mathematics. This is totally untrue. Strong math skills are not attributed solely to pure talent. Instead, math skills can be developed through rigorous training. Additional supplementation outside of the classroom can help expedite and facilitate this learning process. This is why fall of last year, I founded peer-to-peer tutoring at Bennett Middle School. Peer-to-peer brings together 25 academically successful high school students from both Parkside and Bennett High, with 30 to 35 middle school students at Bennett Middle who may struggle with math. These tutors not only provide invaluable one-to-one tutoring to fellow tutees, but also serve as role models of academic excellence. Peer-to-peer meets twice a week for 45 minutes. Why peer-to-peer? The literature consistently corroborates the efficacy of programs like peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer is modeled on the idea that one-to-one tutoring is most efficient at getting across content. In a paper that appeared in the Educational Psychology Review, studies demonstrated that peer-to-peer tutoring has strong positive outcomes for students. In addition to academic benefits, such programs also appear to have positive impact on a variety of attitudinal and social-emotional outcomes, such as students' attitudes towards school, their self-concepts, and their sense of academic efficacy. Teachers have commented that such programs are also fairly simplistic to implement. My ultimate vision is to spread peer-to-peer throughout the county. I have met with Mr. Todd, supervisor of Wicomico County K-12 mathematics, and he shares this vision. However, this will not be a trivial task. We will need the help of fellow students, teachers, and administrators to propagate and emulate the success of peer-to-peer countywide. I'd like to make some final remarks about my experience with this program. My involvement in peer-to-peer has truly given me a different worldview. I'm so incredibly proud of what this fantastic group of 25 kids has accomplished in the past school year. I'm inspired by their passion and dedication to making their local community a better place. I really feel like we've made an impact, and that brings me an inexplicable sense of pride and accomplishment. I look forward to seeing what we can accomplish in the future. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Ahmed, and I'm a recent graduate of James and Bennett High School. Before I begin, I'd like to begin with this quote. Thinking is a natural process, but left to itself, it is often biased, distorted, partial, uninformed, and potentially prejudiced. Excellence in thought must be cultivated. This quote comes from one of the papers that I used to research for my project, and it proves the point, or expresses the point that in order to have thoughts that are well cultivated, one must think critically and have support for their ideas. About 3 years ago, my brother established the Freethinker Society at James M. Bennett High School. And the goal of it was to improve critical thinking skills through an open discussion environment where students would meet after school once a week or once a month and would discuss topics that were happening in the news, such as the war on terror, things like that. And the point of it was for students to not just speak their minds, but also to be able to support their ideas and to ask the question why. Why do you think that way? Where does that come from? And so that not only helps show why your idea is supported, but also may strengthen someone else's point of view. When I spoke to Mr. Raffa, the Dean of Students at James M. Bennett, he told me about the program he's instituting next year called the Step Up Program. It's about a period-long class. It's not every day. It's either once a week or once a month. And they discuss the 3 R's that Bennett students are supposed to uphold: respect, responsibility, readiness to learn, and they're supposed to speak in an open format where they are supposed to sit in a circle and basically speak their minds and give support from school examples or life examples of how they are respectful, how they're responsible, and how they're ready to learn. And this sort of correlates with what I'm trying to implement, because the idea is to have students not only speak openly, but to have support for their ideas. Next year, I'd just like to start off small and bring it back just at Bennett. I already have 2 student advisors who are willing to run it, along with 1 teacher advisor. They will meet once a month, and they will communicate, the 3 advisors will communicate with one another to determine what they're going to speak about that month. And the format is sort of like a Socratic circle, like an English class, where you just actually sit in a circle so you can see everyone and it's easier to speak. And a big part of this is research, where students not only have to research about their topic, but they have to bring in articles to support, and so they can show their support to their peers. And eventually, I like to have it throughout Wicomico County, where there will be all 4 high schools, Mardella, Y High, Parkside, and Bennett, will meet once a month. There will be 2 student advisors from each school, 1 teacher advisor from each school, and Mayor James Ireton has volunteered to be the adult advisor at each of the meetings. And so hopefully there will be communication between the mayor and the 4 teacher advisors to discuss what the topics will be each month. And the big question is money, which there will be self-transportation, so no cost for transportation. In order to get into each school's program, there will be an essay requirement. It may be like a vague or ambiguous question that you have to relate to, or a quote. We figured that we did not want a GPA requirement because studies show that there's a strong correlation between socioeconomic status and GPA. So if we cut off a certain GPA, we sort of cut off certain viewpoints. And that's it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kate Nichols. I'm an 11th grade student at Mardella Middle and High School, and my idea was a county-wide high school spelling bee. Literacy, Literacy. It is defined as the condition or quality of being literate, especially the ability to read and write. Incorporated into a sentence, it reads, "The literacy rate for teens has decreased dramatically in recent years." The intent of this proposal is to implement a spelling bee that awards scholarships in all Wicomico County high schools. The Wicomico County Board of Ed offers spelling bees for elementary and middle school students through funding from the Scripps National Spelling Bee, which does not have the resources needed for funding a high school bee. On a daily basis, I hear my peers ask our teacher, "How do you spell that?" and frustratingly state that they can't spell a word when doing classwork. This anecdotal evidence reflects the declining literacy skills of millions of teens across the country. To compensate for their disabilities, teens rely on spell check for completing and correcting their writing assignments. Unfortunately, spell check does not actually improve their spelling. So how then will they ever learn to write? Moreover, texting has been proven to have a negative impact on spelling skills. As noted in the Journal of Research and Reading, the number of text messages sent per day, the proportion of textisms or text abbreviations produced, and number of textism categories used all correlated negatively with the standardized measures of reading, spelling, and non-word reading. This negative correlation may actually cause youth to use texting to mask poor spelling skills, which in turn will reinforce their poor spelling skills. Is it really worth it? You may be wondering why a teen like me would be so concerned with the recent decline in our youth's spelling skills. Having strong spelling skills increases the chances of being accepted into college and being hired for a job. Picture this. Two people apply for the same job at a business. One resume is grammatically flawless, no punctuation, grammar, or spelling errors, while the other closely resembles the work of a 10-year-old, full of literary mistakes. It is not hard to predict whom the company will choose as their employee. Not only do strong literary skills benefit those competing for jobs, they prepare youths for writing essays, which are a critical part of the college application process. So far, I have made much progress in my endeavor. With the assistance of Ms. Andrea Bursler, the Executive Director of Wicomico Public Libraries, Ms. Ellen Harlan, the Supervisor of English and World Languages at the WCBOE, and Ms. Joyce Taylor, the Middle School Reading Intervention and Middle School Bee Coordinator at Mardella, Wicomico County's first high school spelling bee is scheduled for June 13th from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center. In order to ensure that this event is a success, the bee will be restricted to 100 Wicomico County Board of Ed high school students. Although limited in its numbers, the success of this event will prove that county-wide high school spelling bees really can happen in our county. The event will be fully volunteer-run thanks to the pledges of support from the City of Salisbury, Mardella Middle and High School's Ms. Joyce Taylor, and members of the Salisbury-Wicomico Youth and Civics Council. The Wicomico Public Library has also said they will assist in forming a high school-level word list for the bee. In order to garner greater interest in the event, the Salisbury-Wicomico Youth Civics Council has received funding through the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore's Small Grants Program to fund a $1,000 prize. Everyone present this evening is invited to attend. I hope to see you then. As a former spelling bee participant, I can testify that this activity greatly enhanced my spelling and vocabulary, which in turn strengthened my ability to write. I never had to ask of my peers or instructors, "How do you spell that?" because I had developed strong literacy skills. When I transitioned to high school and lacked a spelling bee to look forward to, I found myself sometimes actually doubting my own spelling. We need to bring back the bee.
Hello, my name is Kayla Ennels, and I'm a recent graduate of Wicomico High School. When I was in school, I noticed that teachers had a lot to do, and they were really busy, and kids really didn't have they couldn't really help kids with personal projects that they might have. So children could benefit from a program children could benefit with help on finance-related projects. Um, this program would help kids grow educationally and creatively. The program would be modeled after the WISE after-school program, which is a WISE is an acronym for Y Middle's Integrated Social and Education Program. WISE's schedule is first the children have snack, and then they would transition to homework where the kids will be separated by grade level and given time and help on their assignments. And then they would have an enrichment period. And enrichment is interchangeable with many different activities. For example, on Mondays and Tuesdays, the kids would play educational games with their group leaders. On Wednesdays, they would have club time, for example, Girl Scouts or things like that. And on Thursdays, they would have recreational time where they would be able to play games, sports, art, and computer time. My proposed program would follow basically the same schedule. So children would have snack upon arrival, homework time, and then group time where the kids would be separated into whatever they would need help with that day. For example, there would be a creative writing group, there would be music-related groups such as band or chorus, and there would be arts-related groups. This program would encourage students to ask questions and speak their mind, which would increase participation in classroom discussion. And creatively, they would grow their skills with the extra help they would be getting. Age level-wise, it would be focused mostly on middle and high school students, but the elementary school will not be excluded. There could begin advertising there, get interest. This program has many benefits besides educational and creative growth, its flexibility. It could be an autonomous program at one location where the children would come after school, or it would be a joint program where it would partner with different ones. For example, if my proposed program were to partner with the WISE After School program, my program would be a club, so to speak. And with staff would have to have adequate knowledge of whichever group they're helping. For example, you wouldn't have a mathematician teach reading classes. And volunteers would be most 11th grade and college students. We wouldn't want 10th graders or 9th graders because we need a certain level of maturity. I speak from experience with my volunteering at the WISE program. And that was my idea.
Hi, my name is Chantel Handy. I'm in the 10th grade, and I go to Wicomico High School. My proposal is about a record label and gymnastics for Salisbury. A record label in Salisbury would help teens get more involved in music, because a lot of teens like to be creative with music. They like to sing, dance, and enjoy the rhythm that music makes and gives. Involving students in musical activities helps them prepare for the outside world. So if they want to sing or rap, having a record label could help prepare them for their bigger career. A record label would help teens become more comfortable with performing music and may help to jumpstart their music career. So if you wanted to become if you wanted to become a singer and sing any type of genre, having a record label could help prepare you because you would get used to the equipment and get used to being comfortable in one spot. And a record label would be a great idea, as if it would help to inspire and encourage teens who want to pursue a career in music. Like for me, example, I want to pursue a career in music. So I really love singing, dancing, and having fun, and music is what makes the world go round. And teens create songs that send messages to to the audience, which expresses the artist's feelings and emotions. So when a artist makes a song and you listen to it, the words that the artist is trying to show you in the song is trying to express their feelings or how they feel, and it's trying to tell you something. So it gives you a message, and it gives you a knowing and knowledge of what they're talking about. My second proposal is about gymnastics. Gymnastics is a sport that used to be in high schools. So back then in BC, gymnastics was created. It was used, yes, it's funny. It was used to help men prepare for battle. So it was like the Greek and Romans would use it to mostly stretch and help them become more flexible for combat and battle. Many high schools and colleges, both inside and outside of Maryland, offer gymnastics as a sport. So Iowa State University has gymnastics as a sport. University of Maryland College Park also has gymnastics. A Michigan high school, a Colorado high school, and a New Jersey high school also has gymnastics as a sport. Did you know that Montgomery County stands alone on Maryland high school gymnastics? They're the only county that has gymnastics high school. So Y High, Parkside, James and Bennett High, Mardella High, they don't have gymnastics as a sport. And James Hubert Blake High School, or Blake High School, and Springbrook High School in Montgomery County offer gymnastics programs. Gymnastics can be offered either as an after-school program or an all-year sport for teens, because it's mostly an all-around thing. So gymnastics gives teens a chance to increase flexibility, which not only can aid them in another sport or activity, but will also increase stamina and agility. So, gym class, a lot of students don't like gym. I love gym, I just don't like the things that we do. So, I play sports, and most of the time, certain sports that I do, we don't stretch in a way, but sometimes we do. In gym class, we always stretch. Students choose not to stretch, and students choose not to participate, which brings their grade down, and they don't really care. So I know some people that done gymnastics, but they had to do it outside of Salisbury to go get lessons. And I know some people that are flexible and that are comfortable. And gymnastics also would just increase your movement. So when you do a sport, you don't pull a muscle. It just helps you become more comfortable and more accurate in the sport. And that's my proposal.
My name is Steve Lee, and I am a sophomore at Wicomico High School. And I would like to begin with introducing a fictional chicken named Henry. Henry is a brave chicken, and today, June 9th, 7:30 a.m., he decided to cross Long Avenue. Why did the chicken cross the road? Well, we all know that it was to get to the other side, but we should focus not on what the chicken was trying to do, but why the chicken was trying to get across the road. So what on the other side prompted Henry to get across the road? Well, there was 7-Eleven. So in addition to what and why, we should also focus on how the chicken crossed the road. The chicken looked around for crossing guards and crosswalks, but they couldn't find any. The chicken so badly wanted to get to 7-Eleven that it decided to cross the Long Avenue anyway. Unfortunately, Henry was not very careful and collided with a vehicle. This is the worst case scenario for any students crossing the 5 Points intersection. The 5 Points intersection is where 5 rows adjoin and is nearby La Torteca, 7-Eleven, and the Board of Ed. Every school day, many students cross the 5 Points intersection, whether it is for their self-pleasure at 7-Eleven or to get to Wicomico Middle School. And both drivers and students feel the frustration from the hazardous conditions that they experience. So to reduce these dangers, Salisbury City should improve the environment around the schools. And walker safety isn't a problem only in this 5 Points intersection or in Salisbury. It is rather more universal. In Chicago, they implemented many safety measures such as crosswalks in schools and reinforcements, an indication that there is a school nearby, unlike here, where this is a picture of a long avenue, and there are almost you can barely tell that there is a school nearby. When I went to Wicomico Middle School, I didn't even know where Wicomico High School was, literally. So in Chicago, after implementing these programs, there were 17.2 reduction in pedestrian fatalities. Also in Ocean City, Walk Smart program was adopted in 2013. It consisted of improving infrastructures, and as a result, there were 0 fatalities from Memorial Day to Labor Day in 2013. To address this issue, I have contacted Mr. Wolf, the Director of City Public Works Department, and he has been coordinating with the State Highway Administration to fix this issue. Safety of pedestrians, especially for students, concerns their well-being and ultimately their education. And this will also help the society feel better and more comfortable in their environment, and live what would be more beneficial to everybody virtually. Thank you.
I'm Savannah Scott. I'm in 8th grade at St. Francis de Sales School. Nationally, there are between 6 to 8 million animals in shelters. 64% of these animals are euthanized, and 45,000 of these euthanizations happen in Maryland. The Humane Society of Wicomico County got 700 animals adopted last year, but they want to do better. They want to do more remote adoptions with more animals to get more animals adopted, and so the animals spend less time in the shelter. I am proposing to get a grant from the Salisbury Community Funds to get the Humane Society a mobile adoption trailer. This trailer would be able to take the animals, transport the animals to a more populated location, so then the people would be able to see the animals, and so they would be able to be adopted. The Salisbury Wicomico Humane Society is located by Salisbury Airport and is between 15 to 30 minutes from the center of Salisbury City. It is right about there. Then it is out of the way for most of the citizens and is not easy to find. If the people can't see the Humane Society or see the animals, what's motivating them to get adopted and what's keeping these animals out of the shelter? This is the Humane Society located to the rest of Wicomico County. It's right there. In Pasco County, Florida, Seattle and King County, Washington, and Barstow County, California, these are very big counties for the area. They each get a mobile adoption, transportation, and all of their adoption rates increased dramatically. Carroll County Humane Society has a 7 by 18-foot trailer. This trailer costs $38,624. Their adoption rates increased after purchasing this trailer. David Fitzgerald, the executive director of the Salisbury Wicomico Humane Society, said this would be a great piece of equipment to have. He would have enough people to staff it, and he would be confident that it would help increase the adoption rates. I recently went to the fundraiser at Walk for the Animals they had, and I got 18 signatures saying that people would donate and support to this project if the Salisbury, if the grant wasn't enough. And so if we get this mobile adoption trailer, which is specifically made to keep the animals hot or cold or make sure they're comfortable during travel, we'll be able to get more animals adopted and keep them safe and out of the shelter. So that's it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Banuja Munasinghe. I'm a freshman at James M. Bennett High School. The proposal that I would like to introduce to you today is high school course evaluations for Wicomico County Public Schools. Why course evaluations? Course evaluations helps improve overall high school courses. It will also give teachers a tool to systematically analyze all factors that make this course successful, including curricula, teaching skills, homework, opportunities for grade improvement, and preparedness for national level exams such as the SAT and AP tests. 7 school systems in Maryland started working on teacher and principal evaluations in 2010 that are evaluated by administrators. But my proposal will ensure that students' voices are heard for decisions that will impact their future. A student's responsibility will be to provide accurate information for all questions asked to meet the intended goal of this proposal. Generally, course evaluations will enhance students' attitudes towards their classes because when they answer questions such as, how often did you go to tutoring, or how much time did you spend for classwork, it will help them indicate what extent they had to prepare themselves to complete a course successfully. Teachers will also have a chance to see the student's point of view for each aspect of the class. If several students come to the same conclusion about the class, the teacher will gain the necessary insight to reevaluate their teaching. I have looked at many high schools that contain high school course evaluations. One such high school is Carondelet High School, a private school in California which employs a science questionnaire to assist them in finding out the effectiveness of coursework, homework, class assignments, labs, and student effort in class. Through my discussions with Dr. Stephen Genrich, the department chair of the Biological Sciences at Salisbury University, I received further proof that course evaluations provide teachers with the appropriate feedback to improve delivering course concepts to students. And I have also learned that most universities have online course evaluations, which are non-mandatory, which thus leads to a drop in student participation. What it looks like is the simple multiple choice questions as well as written comments. To ensure the effectiveness of these evaluations, I would suggest that the WCBOE consider giving a simple 10 to 15 question evaluation to one grade level at one Wicomico high school. As I attend Bennett High School, I would prefer to be a part of the initial trial phase of the implementation of course evaluations. To summarize my proposal, I propose that the WCBOE employ a paper-based course evaluations with simple questions that focus on 4 key factors to ensure the successfulness of a course, such as effectiveness of the course, curriculum, teaching styles, and perceived level of student participation. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Monroe Parker. I'm a junior at Mardella Middle and High School. It was 7th grade year. After an hour and a half of all short course practice after school, I sat there on the steps of Bennett Middle School, waiting for my parents to pick me up. After sitting in the lobby for about 20 minutes, a lady came out from the office and told me to wait outside because she was leaving. There was going to be no one else there to watch me. So I did as I was told, and I went outside. An hour went by. Still, there was no sign of my parents. Out of the sky, raindrops began to fall. Just my luck, right? It wasn't until 6:30 p.m. that my ride arrived. To my surprise, it wasn't my parents. It was my cousin, Danielle. Nevertheless, I was happy that I finally got to leave. When I got home, I saw my parents sitting at the kitchen table. I remember whining at them. "Where were you guys at? I was waiting for you guys." You know what they said? "We were asleep." See, one of the biggest cliches you hear when something goes wrong is that stuff happens. Although that is true, you want to try your best to make sure things go right. I didn't want to sit outside my school for 2 extra hours before I got to go home. I didn't want to be drenched in rain before I stepped foot in my house. I didn't want to feel forgotten. Nor do I wish that feeling on anyone else. That is why I have developed a potential solution. I propose to have after-school transportation provided to high school students who participate in extracurricular activities in Wicomico County. Buses will be waiting outside around 5 to 5:30 p.m. to await students needing to get home. Mardella, Wicomico, Bennett, and Parkside high schools would each have buses transporting students home. This input into our county busing system would allow more students to participate in after-school programs and/or sports. Now, of course, questions will be raised. How much money will this cost? How will this fit into the annual budget? Why is this our problem? Well, first and foremost, I know that this project will take a little more than pocket change. But when we think about the welfare of our children, of our community, wouldn't you say it's worth it? I would. Providing after-school transportation is not just about the money it will cost. It is about the lives it will change. In the interim, I propose a solution that should help to mitigate the cost of this program. Although I firmly believe that after-school transportation should be provided for all, I admit that financially this may not be possible for the Wicomico County Board of Education to implement immediately. So, I propose that the Wicomico County Board of Education partner with Shore Transit to offer free transportation vouchers for students who are eligible for free and reduced lunches. Many larger cities operate this type of service, including Portland, Oregon, Portland, Maine, St. Paul, Minnesota, and Miami Beach, Florida. While I acknowledge that Salisbury does not have the population, density, or advanced public transportation system, we must start somewhere. By starting with Wicomico High School, whose current bus routes most closely mirror Shore Transit's routes, we can assess the viability of this program. Additionally, as Shore Transit has acknowledged in their own 2012 routing study, ridership in the small urban routes is lacking. By providing students with vouchers to use Shore Transit, all parties gain something out of the proposal. As stated before, I had a bad experience with after-school transportation when I was younger. Honestly, I've been dealing with the same problem even up to the closing of this school year. Good thing I'm graduating next year, right? Nevertheless, it is still a problem. And just because it would no longer be my problem, it does not mean that it should not be resolved. I began this project, I prepared this proposal, and I stand before you this evening not just for myself, but I am here saying in place of every kid who has had to stop participating in extracurricular activities just because they couldn't make it home. I stand here for every kid who has had to wait long hours after school because their parents were busy with work elsewhere or simply forgot. I stand here looking out for the next Monroe Parker. I do not wish for others to have the same feeling I felt. It is not a good one at all. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'd like to now open up the floor for any questions. All of the members before you have agreed begrudgingly to answer your questions. So if there are any. Okay, they're very happy. I promise I won't take up that much more of your time, but I just wanted to say a few closing words. If you don't know, I'm Theo Williams. I'm Program Coordinator of the Salisbury Wicomico Youth Civics Council. And I want to say it's been a privilege to work with these amazing kids over the past 5 months. Driven, intelligent, passionate. They are the epitome of the youth community. As a Salisbury native, yes, I am from Salisbury, I've been able to relate to the frustrations of these kids very well. I grew up thinking that there was nothing to do in Salisbury. I felt that I didn't, yeah, Steve's nodding his head. I felt that the youth didn't have a place in Salisbury. But tonight represents a drastic change in that attitude and those perceptions. What the community has achieved tonight by coming together is nothing short of incredible. All of you are here for one purpose, and that's to listen to what these youths have to say. The members of the SWYCC represent the next generation of Salisbury and Wicomico youth. Although they may go away to undergraduate and graduate school, I'm confident that they just might come back. There will be no more fleeing the lower shore. Instead, people will be fleeing to the lower shore. The ongoing downtown revitalization, Main Street master plan, expansion of Salisbury University, and success of Third Friday are among the many exciting prospects that give me hopes for the future. Of course, tonight could not have happened without the hard work and dedication of a number of individuals, and if you allow me, there's a number of them. I would like to go through them. First of all, I wanted to thank Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore and Ms. Erica Joseph for funding our program, both in terms of the transportation. Yeah, that's a big one. That's why I started. Both the transportation and the $1,500 for the spelling bee was a result of the Community Foundation. Of course, Dr. George Whitehead and AmeriCorps, of which I am a member. Without his program that recently celebrated 20 years, I wouldn't be here, and a lot of other programs in the Lower Shore would not be here as well. I would also like to thank the Mayor's Office for hosting me and listening to me, for that matter. I have been known to rant every once in a while, but they like me nonetheless. And I'd also like to thank Diana Parnell, the Executive Director of the Wicomico Partnership for Families and Children. Not only has she allowed her building to be used on Saturdays, she gave me keys to the building. Can you believe that? I know. But nevertheless, she has also been very supportive of us and very helpful. Also, Jake Day for starting this program 2 years ago. A round of applause goes out to you. And then also Melissa Holland of the county, Monique Vestal of the Board of Education, and Kim Nichols of the City of Salisbury. They work together to coordinate the various and changing schedules of the 3 legislative entities of the area. And it wasn't easy, but we got a lot of people out here, so we appreciate that. And then, of course, City and County Council for funding this program. Board of Ed for supporting me, and I'd like to specifically point out 2 Board of Ed employees. One, Micah Stauffer, he's been very supportive of this program. We've gone back and forth with numerous emails, and even we tried to put together a survey, but it fell apart at the last minute, but we're both looking forward to the year to come. And then Ms. Joyce Taylor of Mardella Middle and High School, who's been helping me with the spelling bee. So with that, we're nearly done, but we have to present the certificates, which are with you, Robbie. I know I'm dragging you guys up here one more time. Sorry. All right, so when your name is called, if you can come up here, Savannah. Kate Nichols. Banuja Munasinghe. Steve Lee. Chantel Handy. Monroe. And Monroe is a co-secretariat, by the way, along with Kayla Ennels, who is also a co-secretariat. And we have the Vice President, Michael Lee. and the President, Ahmed Osman. And lastly, if Kate and Steve could step forward, just up front, please. I don't have the certificates on me, but you are both the outstanding SWYCC members for 2015. Both of these individuals have shown incredible determination. They were the first ones to submit things to me every single time. I've asked a lot of both of them, and of course Kate with the spelling bee, and Steve, I probably gave him a little bit too much technical information at times. But nevertheless, he was there. So they will be receiving a $250 scholarship, thanks again to the Community Foundation, which he will receive at a later date. So, all right, thank you. And with that, I think we are done. There is plenty of food that you are welcome to take home if we don't eat, but I worked for catering. I know what happens to it. But other than that, I think we are done. Thank you all very much.